Two great vloggers here on YouTube did this post, and I'm sort of tagging myself onto their videos. Carrie Hope Fletcher and John Green both did a list of books that you probably haven't heard of and that you really should read. Growing up, I was a self-proclaimed bookworm. There wasn't many times where you wouldn't see my nose in a book. I had this giant wishbone phase where I was reading all of his novels and watching his TV show. I love how I'm giving more credit to a Jack Russell Terrier than I really should. So anyway, back to this list. I'm trying to go towards books that you probably have not heard of. And these are from various stages of my life, from childhood all the way to adulthood. First off is a book that I just recently reread. It's The Heart Reader of Franklin High. Originally it was published as an anonymous book, and then we found out that it was Terry Blackstock who wrote this. It is about a boy that is a newer Christian, and he gets the ability to read the hearts of those around him. And that is why I wish that my superpower was reading people's minds, or reading people's hearts rather. Having Our Say by the Delaney sisters. I actually read this in college during my human development class. This is an autobiography by the Delaney sisters, and they were over 100 years old, both of them, and how their lives were like during the turn of the century. And it's a fascinating read. It's just a beautiful story of sisterhood. There are many books that I could suggest by Francine Rivers, but some of her lesser known books are in her Lineage series, which basically chronicle 5 of the women that are mentioned in Jesus' lineage in Matthew. It basically takes the Bible and extrapolates what these women were actually experiencing. Now I can laugh at it that I was reading fan fiction even before I knew what fan fiction was. So that's basically what it is a historical fan fiction, but it is true to its source material. So it is canon compliant. If you've heard of Rainbow Rowell, you definitely have read Eleanor and Park and Fangirl, but you might not have read Attachments. The main protagonist of this book is a 20-something-year-old guy who gets hired in the year 1999 to make sure that the computers are Y2K compliant and to monitor work emails for security purposes. And he stumbles upon 2 women who are friends writing back and forth. And he's supposed to tell them to knock it off and to get back to work, but he can't because they're such marvelous women. And so he secretly reads their emails. I did a movie review on The Indian in the Cupboard, and just had one of those weird moments where I realized that in elementary school, 1998, there was a book bowl, and I read a book by the author of The Indian in the Cupboard, and I love this book. It's called The Farthest Away Mountain by Lynne Reed Banks. You can even see my handwriting in the back here. Isn't that crazy? Where I had to basically outline this book. It's a very short, young reader, but it really got me into books like The Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter. I love Ted Decker's work. A novel that I found that a lot of people don't know about his is called Blink. And there is a kid who is a graduate student named Seth Borders. One day he wakes up and he's able to see into the future. And it's not like super far into the future, it's like 10 minutes into the future. He runs into a woman named Miriam, who is a Saudi Arabian princess who is escaping from a forced arranged marriage, which is abusive, and he has to save her from it and use his powers of seeing into the future to do that, and it's super engaging, and it's really a good novel, and you need to read it. I couldn't not suggest this, even though it is a Caldecott book winner, but this is the autobiography by Bill Peet. Bill Peet was one of the animators, storyboard artists in the Disney Corporation during its inception. And this book is just beautiful. He's illustrating his life the entire time. Another children's book that I really love is The Secret Knowledge of Grown-Ups by David Wisniewski. I don't know whether this is going to scar children or make them have a better imagination. I'm not even going to open it and show you what it's about. I'm not going to tell you anything. You just need to find it. Under the Overpass by Mikey Kowski. This book read in college and really changed my attitude about the homeless population in America. Basically, he and his friend for 5 months lived as homeless men, even though they came from a pretty affluent neighborhood, and just saw the state of homelessness. So that's the short list of books that I would suggest to you, and believe me, they're very, very good. But come to think of it, you don't have to take my word for it. Bye, guys.